Today I'm going to show you how to make lime green pepper jelly, which is fantastic on tacos, meats, as well as cream cheese on crackers. So for written directions, as well as all the ingredients that you'll need, please check the link to my blog in the description below. So I'll be using my KitchenAid food processor attachment, but you can use any sort of food processor or hand dice, really doesn't matter. You want your pieces of pepper to be about 1 centimeter or less in size, and then your jalapeños you want to be a fine dice so they disperse evenly throughout your jelly. So this is the first time I've really used my KitchenAid food processor attachment. I got it for my birthday and I just really haven't had a chance to use it. So there's definitely a steep learning curve to figuring out which blade you need, as well as just how to push the pieces through. And I've also discovered that it works really well for larger items and a little harder items such as peppers or harder. I ended up using my tiny food processor to finish mincing up all the pieces that didn't get processed properly, as well as finally dicing up the jalapeños. My eyes were pretty much burning at the end of this, but so worth it. So in a heavy bottom pot on your stove, add in all of your peppers. Optionally, you can also add in red pepper instead. I was going for a green slimy look for a particular Secret Santa present, so I made sure to use all green peppers. So then you want to add in about 6.5 cups of white granulated sugar. I'm not one to meticulously level my measuring cups, but and then 1.5 cups of cider vinegar. I have apple cider vinegar here. Either works, no big deal. And then you want to turn it into a medium-high heat and then stir until all the sugar dissolves. In case you're wondering, on the other pot on the stove, I was making crystallized sugar to make a rock candy. Another item for the Secret Santa present. To save yourself some time, I suggest cutting off the tops of your liquid pectin and placing them in a jar or a glass just on the side. As well as you can also add in some food coloring if you want to enrich the color. I only added 1 or 2 drops of green here. And now we're really looking for the sugar syrup to come up to a rolling boil that you can't quite stir down before adding in your pectin. So once you've added in your pectin, give it a good stir, and now you're waiting for it to come back up to boil before starting the 1-minute timer. And this is the part where it determines whether or not your jelly will set. So you can use the frozen plate or spoon method to test the thickness of your jelly before committing it to being done. But I like to gamble and just kind of go with how long I think it's been boiling. So I originally set a 1-minute timer, but it wasn't quite where I wanted it to be, so I added another minute. And then you want to let your jellies kind of sit and just cool off a bit so your pieces will be dispersed throughout the liquid. As well, to have a clear jelly, you want to remove all the foam on top. So normally I would use a dishwasher or boiling water to sterilize my jars, but at the time I didn't have the stove space, and so I just put them in the oven. Now you want to make sure that the surface you transfer your jars to is completely dry. If there's any liquid on the surface, jars risk of cracking. I also personally boil my lids. The new lids you don't have to do this with, it's just a habit I've acquired since I've been canning with my mom. It's not going to hurt the lids if you do, and it's not going to hurt the lids if you don't. So now when you add your liquid to your jars, you want to leave about 1 inch to 1/2 inch of headspace at the top. So I typically go right below where the rings start. You want to make sure that your jelly has cooled for at least 5 to 10 minutes before putting them into the jar, just to prevent all of the pieces from floating to the top. Also pour slowly so you don't create any bubbles to make a nice even surface on the top. That last jar did not make it through the night. This jelly is fantastic. So you can wipe your rims with water or vinegar just to remove all the stickiness before applying your lids. Once you've applied the lids, then put them into a water bath following the appropriate boiling times for your elevation.